Is he into dudes? Bruce Jenner into dudes as a woman? Or will he be a lesbian woman on the... I don't know. Let's talk to Brent Weinbach, though, because that will get to the bottom of things. Brent.
Hi. I thought he transitioned in the 90s.
Yeah, it really was some odd thing that was going on with him the whole time. But the 70s, I guess, was when he was in the Olympics, and Wheaties box, the big athlete.
He still had a feminine look to him in the 70s too. I mean, he kind of looked like he almost kind of looks like Jack Nicholson's sister or something. If Jack Nicholson had a sister, he would look like that.
He absolutely could look like Nicholson's sister. Very delicate features, though. That's true. I don't know.
Features, yeah.
I don't know.
Very fine features. He's hot.
Yeah, he is hot.
He's hot for an older woman.
So what are you up to, Brent?
Just one of your associates contacted me and said you guys had seen my video called Gangsta Party Line.
Yes, Gangsta Party Line, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Thank you.
Where'd you get the actors? Very hardcore.
Yeah, it was LA casting pretty much for the most part. Just found them on LA casting. A couple of them are comedian friends of mine, but most of them were for LA casting, and they were I mean it took a lot. It took a bit of time to sort of work with them to get the performances we needed, but
it looks very natural. It looks very natural, the performances. I was scared shitless.
There's one guy who was definitely, I feel like it was like less acting and more he was just being himself. And him, I kind of just didn't even let him. I kind of asked him to not even worry about the lines too much. I told him to just hit a couple points, but then just to sort of improvise it. And doing that's what made him come off natural. That was the Jewish gangster guy.
Right. Yeah, he was pretty good, man. Yeah, he looked serious.
He was like, as long as he didn't have to, as long as he wasn't worrying about trying to stay on the script.
Right.
When he kind of just played it a little more loose, his stuff was just he actually came up with stuff. He used an expression that I didn't write in the script, and that I now use this expression in my own life. At the end of his sort of rant, he says "off top," which I'd never heard before, and I thought I was pretty familiar with a lot of urban slang.
Yeah.
But off top, I guess it means like for real or something like that. So he says a bunch of stuff, and then at the end he goes off top. And I like that. I use that now.
Were you worried that handing the script to these guys like, hi, please don't fucking punch me in the face, but I'd like you to say this?
Oh yeah, no, I before, like, we had a little audition session, and before I sent anybody the script, I told them, there's a lot of foul language in it, and if you have a problem with any of it, I totally understand. You can pass if you want to. It's no big deal. And there were two people who passed. There was one guy who just very politely said, it's not for him or whatever, and then there was this other guy who was auditioning to play the white gangster.
Right.
And he was just like a kind of like a dick about it. He just was, I don't know, he said he had standards, and
Jesus.
I don't know, it was the one white guy who said this, and he was
I have
standards, and he's like a white rapper guy in real life, and he I don't know, he was just totally a dick about it.
That is kind of dicky. You got to understand, I've always talked about context on this show, and the fact that anything really can be funny in the right context. And
totally, I'm the same way.
Yeah, and the second you try to label everything as offensive just because of the language or the subject matter, and say that there's no way to joke about, and then insert whatever issue or word here, then you're really curtailing what people find funny, what a lot of people find funny, and what could be funny, and the talents of people that can make things funny,
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you can pretty much make a joke about anything, but it just, the context has to be, be good for that.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times where people want everybody to live by the same context now, so that if you use a word that is deemed offensive, it doesn't matter where it's used, when it's used. It's the same level of offense if a doctor or a lawyer or a politician said it, or if a comedian or filmmaker used it. And that just shouldn't be that way. And I think that's where we've been headed for a few years now. And it definitely intrudes on creativity. I love foul language. I love fucking politically incorrect stuff. I love when the joke is so horrible that no one meant offense by it. It's meant to punch you in the face with its complete lack of respect. and that is funny. People find it funny. It's been funny for years. There's no way you can tell me that like some newfound thing in our head snapped and all of a sudden we don't find things like that funny anymore. It's just not true.
Yeah, and there's, so for example, like the N-word is used a bunch of times in the video, but the context of it is it's totally not used in a racist context or even in a racial context. Every person in the video, regardless of their skin color, is the N-word in that video.
Right, yeah.
And I use the N-word, and I use the N-word on stage sometimes, doing stand-up comedy, but I try to use it only in a context where I'm portraying a character who would use the N-word. Right. And it's sort of just staying true to that character,
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that probably, the guy who passed on it, he was really, I think particularly, like maybe certain white people were particularly sensitive about
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. I don't get that either. I think it's very telling about the person that does have a problem with that if they are white.
I think that they're kind of racist for even thinking that or something.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the priest that wants to do away with pornography. A little too much.
Right.
Wants to do away with it a little too much.
Right. It's like obviously it's like dirty for him, and there's something that is, I don't know. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I bet no one can control themselves if they look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you you're a stand-up comic, obviously.
Yeah. I do.
And then you do these short films too?
Yeah, I do these like short internet videos, and then I don't know. More recently, I made this sort of longer kind of short film type of thing. That's like kind of like a 20-minute piece that I've been trying to push. It's called I Don't Dance. It's kind of in a different vein than the Gangsta Party Line. Gangsta Party Line is, like a short little internet video, and obviously it has kind of like an urban sensibility about it, but. This is more of just a sort of narrative type thing, and less, it's not urban, but that's I don't know. I spent a lot of time on it last year, and so I kind of just decided, rather than trying to just get it into film festivals, I decided to just release it online and hope people just watch it that way.
Do you have a crew or anything? Because it looks fantastic. You're very if that's you with the lighting and cameras, it looks very good.
There's a guy named Trevor Ames I work with a lot who he shoots all of my stuff, and
wow,
we edit it together. But yeah, it's kind of just. Just him and me pretty much doing a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, because it really they look really well done and professional.
Thanks.
Really good. A lot of stand-ups are trying at least to put out films and short films like this. Only a few are succeeding in making good ones. But it really does open things up. I mean, did you do anything earlier, like really advent of the internet and the ability to put all this stuff online? Were you doing fiddling around with making movies or just doing stand-up?
Yeah, a little bit. I went to college for film. Around the time, I kind of started doing stand-up comedy in college, but I ended up focusing more on stand-up comedy, and then after doing stand-up comedy for a long time, I kind of realized I wanted to get back into doing film stuff. But yeah, I kind of had done. I went to school for it and messed around a little bit, but I don't know. Only in the last few years I've been trying to sort of do more video and film stuff.
Yeah, the internet has made it a lot easier for people to get their shit out there.
And technology has made it easier too. Cameras good cameras are more accessible, and just editing software is easy to come by now. And yeah.
The a little stand-up comic named Louis C.K. You might have heard about him. Was making some short internet films.
Is he up and coming? Is he?
New kid.
Is he on Twitter?
Kid on the block. So Brent Weinbach.
I love his stuff. I love his short films. Those black and white.
They
ones.
were really funny, man. He would put out
great.
shit that, and then some of them you see turn up as short little storylines on his TV shows. So I guess it worked for him.
It's also really fun to watch you watch a lot of those now and seeing a lot of comedians when they're a lot younger.
Yeah.
Like Todd Barry and
all those guys were turning up in all of his shit. At Brent Weinbach on the Twitter. And where you got a website?
BrentWeinbach.com. But I mean, really, if you want to, I think the best place to go is probably just YouTube.com/Brent Weinbach. You can just sort of see all my video stuff there. But not this short film I made, I Don't Dance, is not on YouTube for various reasons.
Yeah.
But it's on Vimeo
yes.
For those, because Vimeo will be more, they're more lenient with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
So Vimeo.com/Brent Weinbach is where you can watch that short
cool.
film, I Don't Dance. Yeah.
Brent, thanks for popping on with us. I really liked your stuff, and
I appreciate it.
I guess you're going to be February 5th at Eureka Theater, San Francisco.
Yeah, that's this Thursday. Yeah, so
cool, man.
8 p.m. Eureka Theater in San Francisco. Yeah,
check that out. Brent Weinbach. Thanks a lot, man.
All right,
Good talking to you.
Bye bye.
There he goes.